Way.
Tell us who you are, where you're from.
I'm Buckshot George. Probably know me also as Jason Smith. Stage name Buckshot George. Been using that, goes way back. I live in the Bardstown, Kentucky area, where I've been for about the last 10 years. So that's what is that? Roughly about 35 minutes out of Louisville, something like that. Yeah, and yeah, that's who I am. I play bass guitar. I play guitar, and I try to sing. But
All right. So, what first got you? Tell us starting music. Tell us about you starting music. What got you into it?
It's kind of almost embarrassing to me. Like I think a lot of kids back in the day. I started out getting into Kiss. The makeup and the blood and the breathing fire and all that stuff. I was really captivated by that as a kid. A little bit frightened of it. I remember my cousin is a Kiss freak, and I remember being afraid of his posters on his wall. And then years later, I started really getting into Kiss, and I was also really into Def Leppard at the time. I was a kid. Those two bands got me into everything cool because the Def Leppard and Kiss had really great influences. So I don't know if you realize that, because if you go trace the lineage back, you go from Def Leppard to things like The Sweet, Mott the Hoople. You go back into that. You got Kiss. You go back to New York Dolls, Velvet Underground. You learn about all their influences, and so I really got into that stuff. But New York music I really liked. I liked the Detroit stuff a lot, and I've been listening to the same trashy rock and roll since I was a kid. I was also really into British glam quite a bit, British punk, all that stuff. So I started playing guitar. I guess I was about 14 years old, and I mowed lawns and bought my first Fender Stratocaster. It was a Mexican-made model, black, and kind of learned how to play Ghost Riders in the Sky first. My dad taught me a little bit. I still play a lot like my dad. It's a weird thing. He's my number one influence as a guitar player. But yeah, and then from then on, I joined, everybody's got that shitty garage band in high school. And a couple of my buddies, actually it was a basement band is what it was. And yeah, so we played in the basement. I remember we had one song we were doing Knocking on Heaven's Door over and over, trying to get the master because we're beginners and, trying to move the chord shapes around and stuff. And yeah, a couple of those guys have gone on to be, in the Louisville music scene. Brian Four was one of them. He was in Red Sun. Gaj Mustafa Sel was another band he was in, kind of this indie weird music. So me and those guys used to play. And I got into a punk band, kind of a glam punk band here in Louisville in 1994 called Perfume Bomb. And we could not find enough players that wanted to wear dresses that were men. That was what we wanted. And so we went out west. We decided we were going to move to New York City. That didn't work out. And we knew a friend out in Phoenix, Arizona that told us the scene was really booming. And a lot of bands were getting signed. You had the Gin Blossoms, the Refreshments, the Pistoleros, guys like that. You ought to go out and try the Phoenix scene. So I moved there in 1996 in June. And yeah, so that's the start. So
You did a little Detroit, did you?
I've been to Detroit a few times. I haven't actually played in Detroit. I definitely kind of identify with that place a lot. I go up there as often as I can, but it's been a few years. But I love the tradition of rock and roll in Detroit, Rock City. But I haven't been up there in a while. Got a lot of friends there though.
How would you describe the music that you create? How would you describe what you're creating now?
What I'm creating now, what I'm working on right now is I'm putting together some demos, and I want to make for this particular song cycle that I'm working on. It's going to be trashy rock and roll. It's going to be just very Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, New York Dolls, that kind of thing. These songs probably won't be that twangy. I'm hoping to get an album out of it. I got a little recording device. I've been kind of, putting down some riffs and stuff and coming up with some ideas, but that's what I'm doing right now. I don't know if it'll be an album. I'm actually participating in record production month in February, where you get 28 days to come up with an album worth of material. So each week you generate your ideas in week 1. Week 2 you start to lay them down. Week 3 you start to mix them and finish them, and week 4 you master them. And hopefully I'll have an album out of this of some kind. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, but that's what I'm working on. This is my first stab at original material in quite a long time. But that's what I'm going for right now.
Well, tell us some people you have collaborated with in the past.
Collaborated mostly with, as far as songwriting goes, I collaborated more with the Earps. Kevin McGregor, the singer, he goes by Hot Wheels McGregor. I wrote a little bit of the material on the debut album, not so much on the second record, and a couple things that what were the songs that we did? The Peacock General off the first record, Wrong Hill to Die On was the other song, and I think I had a little bit to do with the song Hagen. But it's been a long time. I've played with a lot of solo artists, and I've played in a lot of cover bands, so I haven't done a whole lot of writing and co-writing with people. A lot of times material's just been cut out for me to play.
All right. So what would be your most favorite show that you've played?
Most favorite show that I've ever played. I tell you what, it was about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I got invited to play with Ricky Ratt, the guitar player from the Trash Brats, for a David Bowie tribute band up in Indianapolis at Radio. I don't know if you heard of that place or not. That was my favorite because I got to dye my hair again, shave my beard off, put on makeup, and dress up in character, and wearing glitter makeup and stuff. And it was crazy because I was about 40 years old at the time, and I hadn't done anything like that in a long time. And it was a blast going into the dressing room, having makeup applied, and having a big audience come out to see us. We were well paid. It wasn't even about the money so much. It was just like the spirit of glam was just there, and I was in it, and I got to transform into another character, and we had just a great time. I was still drinking back then, so I really tied one on that night, as I remember. But that was my favorite show of all time. I had so much fun with that. That was Ricky Ratt from the Trash Brats, a couple guys from the Brothers Gross, Timmy. No, it was Kyle Gross. I'm sorry, on drums, and Brad St. Patrick from Black Cat Rebellion on vocals, and he was amazing. That was a really good time, and it was called the Rock Opera Ripoff. So there were other bands doing tributes too. There was a tribute to The Who, a tribute to Meatloaf. What was the other one? It was a good time, man. It was really good. Yeah.
Right. Probably my favorite question, the counter question. What is your worst show? Tell us about your worst show ever.
Let's see, the worst show I ever played. I mean, there's been a couple of bad gigs where I don't want to name names as a local person, but when you show up and there's no one there, those are the worst. Those, I think as far as the really bad gigs, I mean, I've messed up some gigs from my drinking back in the day. One really bad gig was a really packed bar in Phoenix, Arizona. I'd been day drinking, got up there, and I completely forgot how to play my instrument. They cut us off after about halfway through the set. Didn't want to pay us, and the owner wanted to kick my ass, and he was a really mean biker, and it was not fun. That was I was really intimidated. So that was a bad gig. I don't know. I've had fun most of my gigs, but I think it'd be surprised with some of the good gigs you have, where you're like, how in the hell did they put us on this bill? But you surprisingly end up having a good time.
Yeah.
But that was my worst gig. Anyway.
So, do you prefer the studio or the stage?
That's changing because I am a live performer. I'm not a great musician. I'm not a great singer, but I don't think I can be touched as far as being a performer. And I think because of the mentors I had in that department are people like Alice Cooper and Johnny Thunders. And I learned how to play. Even Jeff Dahl, who I played for a number of years, really taught me how to put on a show. But we're getting into these times. You said no, not make references to COVID, but obviously we're not playing live that much. I'm starting to get where I used to hate the studio. Like the studio was just something you had to do to go to play a show and sell records at the show. And I don't know. It was like as long as I had beer in the studio, I wouldn't complain too much. But now I'm getting to where like I kind of enjoy it. I had a really good time making this first EP, and I'm setting up a studio at home. So I'm starting to kind of enjoy this studio. There's not really much of a choice because we can't play out so much. We can a little bit, but you know, under certain circumstances, if the crowds are small enough and they're open. But yeah, I would say right now I'm really excited about the studio.
So tell us about the EP. What it's the 3 cover songs. Why did you choose these songs?
Well, you know, it had been, and I started to get kind of depressed because it had been a number of years since the Moonshine Millionaires had put out that EP. I think that was in 2012, and I hadn't done anything in a long time. And really, it was actually had a lot to do with you and the open mics, because I remember you dragged me out to that bar in Okolona that first time and said, "Bring your guitar, come down and play." And I'm like, "I'm rusty. I can't remember how to play." You're like, "It doesn't matter. Just come down here." And kind of a lot of your peer pressure got me out and playing again. And I started kind of having fun, and people were showing up and stuff. And I don't know, these, you know, gears started turning in my head where, you know, I think I'm going to put, I want to put something else out. I'm not in a band right now. What can I do? And I started thinking about, well, I'm not writing anything yet, but if I can at least put out some cover materials, get some sound samples, kind of do what you do, where you have a website, like a press kit kind of thing. You got a little bit of tunes to listen to, maybe some video. That's kind of what I was working toward. So 6 Days on the Road is one of my favorite songs, a great trucker song. Everybody's heard me play that a billion times. I definitely wanted that one cut. I had done that one with the band Lowdown I was in here in Bardstown. I had done that with Hillbilly Alarm Clock out in Lexington, and I really liked the version that Hillbilly and Alarm Clock did at a practice one time, and it was recorded on the iPhone. And I was like, man, I really want that. I really want that song for sure. And 9 Pound Hammer, I don't know why I picked it, because like I had been playing it at open mics. I'd played it because I was in 9 Pound Hammer for about 15 minutes, and the Herbs used to cover it too. So I kind of knew that one, and I love that song too. So I put that one on there. Truck Driving Man, believe it or not, I knew I wanted to do something by Buck Owens, but the Herbs had already put out a record that was a tribute to Buck Owens. But I was wanting to, you know, do my take on a Buck Owens track of one that they did not do. So that was kind of like I kind of sent that one out to the Herbs, and so we did Truck Driving Man. I don't think that's originally a Buck Owens song, but I think he's known for that one. So yeah, that was just, I knew that one thing on this. It's first off, it was supposed to be like a self-titled EP. I think they're calling it 3 Song on all that. I don't know how that I guess that's the title of it on there, but I decided I was going to cut out the punk music for a while at the time, and I wanted to focus on learning a couple trucker songs, and I didn't want to do a bunch of songs about drinking. I don't drink anymore, but you know, with that, I wasn't wanting to, you know, sing about getting drunk and stuff like that. So you know, it's a little pretentious because believe me, I don't drive a truck, but I really like trucker songs quite a bit. So that was kind of the theme I was going for on that EP.
Right. Say hi to Crystal. She's watching.
Crystal who? Hall?
Hall, yes.
Hey, Crystal. Yeah, I follow you on the Facebook all the time. I like your final thought of the day. Maybe we'll have a final thought of the day at the end of this.
Supposed to have. Nobody sent me a joke. Well, people sent me jokes, but they didn't do it right, so I'm not going to read it because they didn't follow the directions.
I'm a horrible comedian. I don't have any jokes.
Oh. And what would be your favorite song to play?
My favorite song to play out of everything I've ever done, I really like to cover the song Trashy Women, which I've not done in a long time. That one, of course, everybody knows it because of the Confederate Railroad version, but the Jerry Jeff Walker version is the one I like, which it says a tad on the trashy side, not a little on the trashy side, but the Herbs used to do that one, and I used to really, really go nuts, and jump around and dance to that one. It's just a great song. It's not politically correct anymore. Times have gone by. It's almost kind of, I guess misogynist and, to sing about that kind of thing now. But I like my women a little on the trashy side. Love that tune, though.
Let's see. If you could go open for any artist, and it doesn't matter if they're dead or alive, if you could go open for anybody, who would it be?
Alice Cooper.
Would it really?
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to actually, if the problem is, like, I'd love to play for Alice Cooper as a bass player or something, but his musicians are top notch, and I don't even come close. But I was always like, if I could play with anybody at all in a band with, I don't know, Alice Cooper was a real early hero. I love that guy. So I think a lot of my heroes I've either met, or, like a lot of them I haven't, but I've either seen them play already. I've seen Alice Cooper before, but I would be honored to open for Alice Cooper. But I've been blessed. I've got to open for a lot of cool people.
Like?
For example, you ever heard of the band X from Los Angeles?
Oh, yeah.
Played with a really great band from Phoenix called the Beat Angels. They were my favorite band in the 90s. They've got actually their stuff, and I'm going to promote them because they're the greatest band I ever saw as far as the local band. They've got an album called Unhappy Hour and another one called Red Badge of Discouraged, and it's all up on Spotify and YouTube now. And great, well-written tunes. So I got to open for them. I've opened for a lot of I opened for Ashley McBryde, if you can believe that, before she was a name. Got to play on stage with her. That was amazing. I played in Texas Terry's band. I've also opened for Texas Terry. I don't know if people know who she is now, but back in the day out of Hollywood, there was nobody that dyed their hair red, had tattoos, if you could believe that. It was female. She was kind of like a Wendy O. Williams act, and she was really big in LA back in the day, so I got to see her quite a bit. We opened for her. I opened for Craig Morgan, if you could believe that, the country singer. Mm-hmm. He was actually a cool guy. We had nothing in common. I didn't know him from Adam. Then, I got to learning who he was later on. It was kind of funny, but he was super famous. I guess he's like this generation's version of Mac Davis. I got to open for Sylvain from the New York Dolls. Great guy. He just passed away. I'm still kind of in, a little bit of sorrow over that, a little bit of grief going on for him. Who else have I opened for? The Reverend Horton Heat. I've opened for Nashville Pussy. That was always fun. Mm-hmm. Opened for Santa Claus at the Light Up Louisville. Played for 50,000 people, at the Light Up Louisville event. That was opening for Santa Claus. So that was cool. That's all I can think of right now. I'll drop some names later if I can come up with some more. Oh, Tyler from Dogs D'Amour. If you remember them from the 90s, or late 80s. Yeah, Tyler was great. He actually was an acoustic set. We opened for him electric. The late Nicky Sudden from Nicky Sudden and Dave Cusworth were in a band called the Jacobites that I really love. Yeah, they were from England. They were great. I spent a lot of these like underground punk names. I opened for the Vibrators. That was cool. The Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys. Yeah, quite a few. That's all I got. I'm not gonna like name drop my ass off.
No, I think it's cool, man. I didn't know you opened for all that.
Yeah, I've opened for a lot of people.
I knew you did that David Allen Coe show. That's where I met you.
He wasn't too friendly, was he? He was he wasn't like the biggest asshole I ever met or anything, but I think he just got in a car accident. He was very medicated. He was just kind of out of it.
Yeah.
Down in Florida, that was a fundraiser for him over at it was a church. It was a biker church, and I don't want to get into that story. What a tragedy that was. But yeah. But that's where we met, huh? Yeah, because I brought your tuner.
Hearts of Fire Church.
Hearts of Fire Church with Pope Dan Johnson, who's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you're starting to write again. Do you have a process that you use, or?
I'm still like believe it or not, I mean, I haven't really written a whole lot in years. I'm actually using, I don't know if I should give away this kind of stuff, but I'm actually enrolled in a songwriting class right now at speedsongwriting.com. And I just bought a book called Writing Better Lyrics by Pat Pattison. And they've got a little bit of a process to it where the lyrics are the hardest thing for me. I can kind of come up with music because, it's not too hard to play rock and roll. It's 3 chords. But lyrics I struggle with. And those books have been helping me kind of generate raw ideas. So I'm still working on that. I'll have something to show to class in about a month. Hopefully it's good.
You guys, Jason can't see your comments, but I can. Tiffany Strickland Lambert says hi, Jason.
Hi, Tiffany.
Just so you know, everybody knows that he can't see your comments, I don't think. But
okay. Yeah, be sure to tell me, because then I don't let people think I'm snubbing them. Yeah.
You're so stuck up, man. I swear. I was the most stuck up person I've ever met,
Let's see. Maybe I turn chat on. Maybe there's comments here. Oh, yeah, I see him. Crystal Hall. Hi, Buckshot George. There's Bill Stakeland, who's the guitar player on that EP.
He's on the album editing, but one of my other favorite questions, but I think you've already kind of answered that, was which musicians do you most admire? Famous musicians, of course, I Alice Cooper and
yeah. As far as that goes, most of it. Obviously, my favorite band of all time are the New York Dolls. Has been that way since I was like a 14 or 15-year-old kid. Always love Alice Cooper, David Bowie, T-Rex, The Sweet, Thin Lizzy, AC/DC. Let's see, Sex Pistols, Vibrators, all that glam and punk, that kind of Dead Boys, that kind of rides the line between glam and punk rock. I like trashy rock and roll a lot. Also like a lot of old country. I think I like Waylon Jennings quite a bit, and the Willie, and Willie Whalen and all that. Been getting into Jason Isbell lately. I really have a lot of respect for that guy as a lyricist. My studio engineer friend was, sending me some links to some songs of his today, and he's great. I like James McMurtry. It's like, yeah, I love James McMurtry. People with good lyrics. I really like the Hold Steady quite a bit.
You like them? I like them too, man.
Yeah, I like the style. Like I like things with good lyrics, even though he's kind of a talking singer. It's like almost like white guy rap or something. But I saw them; they were a great band live. So as far I need to get into newer stuff. I keep listening to these old records over and over, like turning into grandpa.
Well, before we wrap this up, I just let my iPad close on. But
is it a 30-minute show?
Yeah. It's just about
30.
Yeah. Oh no, it's been really good, man.
Okay.
Let's see. What's next? Do you got upcoming shows, or you have a deadline for the album, or a goal deadline or whatever?
I've actually got like a goal set. I want to have an album of original material ready to go in the studio in September. I've got the guys to play on it already. People said yes. I mean, they, hopefully they show up. Hopefully I've got the material already by then. That's my goal for this year. I've got my first solo all electric band gig in May. Is it May? I don't remember the exact date on it. 17th or something. At Waddy Stock, whatever day Waddy Stock. It's on Saturday at 4:30. Gosh, I didn't have that written down. That's what I've got, and after that, I'm kind of just playing for fun. I want to hit more open mics than I do. I'll probably start hitting those up. Probably not till March before I start doing that, because I'm setting up a recording studio, and I'm going to be working on that stuff for a little bit. But I'm going to try to get out there this Sunday if I can, at the 21st Street Amendment. What is it? 21st Amendment, or is it
21st Germantown now?
Yeah, it's in Germantown. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of what I've turned into, is like an open mic guy, and I actually enjoy it quite a bit. And I've got kids, got a job, and the community here in Louisville for open mic. I'm actually, it was a part of my life in my musical career, because I started out, playing in a shitty garage band, and then I was like with, like a international punk rock star, Jeff Dahl. So there was like a lot of stuff I didn't do. I wasn't in a cover band. I didn't do open mics. And I've come back on kind of the way down, to kind of like do these things. I got to do birthday parties, which I'd never done before. It was a blast. I got to do a wedding. It's the gigs at a boat dock, stuff like that, like things I didn't do coming up, being in a cover band that which great guys, really helped my musicianship a lot. I kind of wish I had started out doing open mic from the beginning, I didn't realize like how much fun it is, and how you get, it's like I don't know, we're like a tribe at this point. You know what I mean? Like you got the regulars, you get really good friendships that last a long time. But yeah, I'm probably rambling over your time here, huh?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So we'll cut this out. Everybody, I posted a link to a Spotify link to Jason's album, and I'll have a YouTube link. This will be live on Spotify next week. Sometime soon I'll be on all platforms, because I know not every. I think you're a YouTuber kind of guy, aren't you?
YouTube sometimes. Yeah, I use YouTube Music for stuff. Yeah, I don't use Spotify. I used Google Play Music, and then they went out of business and got bought out by YouTube Music, which I actually like better because they give you lyrics. So
yeah, well, you can listen to anything on YouTube Music.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really like that platform.
If you haven't done so yet, please like Undergroundopolis. Please hit it up on Spotify, hit follow. There's 2 episodes out now, and this will be the 3rd. Season 1, episode 3. Excuse me. And we're gonna go ahead and sign off. No, nobody sent me a joke of the week, which I'm just really disappointed about. Hopefully, maybe I'll pick one and put it into the. I'll pick one and put it into the episode. If you want to submit a joke of the week, whenever I make an event, post it in the discussion tab. And there's a reason I want you to do that. There's a reason I want people to post it into the discussion tab, because that makes the event go up in the algorithm. So that's why I keep asking people to do that. But
can a joke be raunchy, or does it have to be clean? Internet.
I'm trying to think of the dad jokes, but it can be a bad one. It can be I've got plenty of those sent to me. Like there's one of them.
Okay.
One Carlos Alfonso. Well, I guess he sent me one that said, "Why don't orphans play baseball?"
I don't know.
They don't know where home is.
Oh no! I've got one. This was one from the '90s. That'll make sense if you kind of go back in time. What does a stripper do with her asshole before she goes to work?
I know the answer, but go ahead.
Drops them off at band practice. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll have this uploaded a little later. It'll be on YouTube. I couldn't get it to stream onto YouTube for some reason. I keep having difficulties with that, but I will get it to where this live streams on YouTube as well. Thank you, everyone. Like Undergroundopolis.
Hey.
Check out Buckshot George's music. Thank you for being my interview.
Yep, you're welcome. And see you soon.
All right, man. Signing off.
Later.
Later.